Every single day, millions of gallons of water are blasted into the dry Mojave Desert air. The Las Vegas Strip operates as a monument to artificial abundance, where massive, choreographed fountains perform on schedule against an arid backdrop. Just 30 miles east, the reality of the region's climate is carved into the canyon walls. Lake Mead shows a massive white bathtub ring, a physical record of severe water depletion and a shrinking lifeline for the city. Long before the casinos, this valley was a rare natural oasis. Groundwater under immense pressure bubbled up through the desert floor, creating lush meadows. For thousands of years, these flowing springs sustained Native American tribes, including the Mojave and Paiute, providing a reliable water source in a hostile environment. Las Vegas owes its existence to this geographical anomaly. A temporary, localized abundance of water created a beacon, drawing human settlement into a landscape that was otherwise entirely inhabitable. In 1905, railroad tycoon William Andrews Clark rounded his new train line through the Mojave Desert. Steam locomotives require enormous amounts of water, and Clark recognized the artesian springs of the valley as the perfect, necessary refueling station. Clark quickly established the Las Vegas Land and Water Company, auctioning off hundreds of lots around his train depot in a single weekend. The valley's natural aquifer was immediately converted from a sustaining resource into a commercial asset to sell desert real estate. The extraction was relentless. By 1944, warnings were issued. By 1962, the springs stopped. The aquifer was drained so rapidly that the ground beneath the city began to literally compress and sink, causing widespread subsidence. The very infrastructure that built Las Vegas erased the natural water supply that made it possible. To survive, the city would have to either abandon the valley entirely or find a way to engineer a solution on a massive scale. The federal government provided the escape route. In the 1930s, the Bureau of Reclamation initiated a staggering project to dam the Colorado River, funneling 2 years' worth of river flow into a brand new reservoir, Lake Mead. The construction of the Hoover Dam required pouring 4.4 million cubic yards of concrete across the steep gorge of Black Canyon. It was a perilous undertaking, involving thousands of workers suspended high above the canyon floor. The finished dam provided a reliable municipal water supply for Las Vegas, but it also generated cheap hydroelectricity. That power fueled the widespread adoption of air conditioning, cooling the brutal summer temperatures and making the desert livable all year long. Around the same time, reeling from the Great Depression, the Nevada state legislature made a radical economic decision. In 1931, they re-legalized commercial gambling, allowing establishments to openly bank games of chance. A decade later, a California hotelier opened the El Rancho Vegas on Highway 91. It combined a casino, a hotel, dining, and retail into a single self-contained property, inventing the modern resort complex. By securing an artificial water supply from the Colorado River and commodifying a strictly regulated vice, Las Vegas possessed the two core elements needed to ignite a massive expansion in desert capitalism. With the basic infrastructure in place, developers on the Strip began fiercely competing for tourists. In the 1950s, this competition manifested as an architectural arms race, with rival casinos building massive, heated swimming pools to draw attention away from properties next door. These enormous pools were heavily featured in national advertising campaigns. The strategy was to sell the illusion of a lush, tropical oasis, completely obscuring the harsh, dry reality of the surrounding desert. As casino revenues skyrocketed, the industry attracted organized crime syndicates. Federal pressure mounted, eventually leading the state to establish the Nevada Gaming Commission in 1959 to investigate applicants and purge mob influence from the casinos. To further legitimize the industry and generate capital, state lawmakers passed the Corporate Gaming Act of 1967. This legislation allowed publicly traded corporations to own casinos without forcing every individual shareholder to undergo an exhaustive background check. Wall Street money flooded into the valley. Well-known corporations bought up properties and expanded them into colossal mega-resorts, designing entirely themed landscapes built to host mass conventions and global entertainment. The Corporate Gaming Act stabilized the industry's reputation, but it created an entirely new threat. An endless pipeline of corporate capital fueled a continuous physical expansion that rapidly outgrew the desert's natural carrying capacity. Because of this decades-long corporate expansion, Las Vegas now relies on the Colorado River, drawing directly from Lake Mead for 90% of its municipal water supply. Over the last 20 years, a severe climate-driven megadrought has drastically reduced the river's volume. The water levels in Lake Mead are dropping at the exact moment the city's population requires the most resources. To survive these restrictions, the Southern Nevada Water Authority relies on a legal accounting mechanism known as the return flow credit system. Almost every drop of water used indoors, in sinks, showers, and toilets across the city, is captured. It flows to a wastewater treatment plant, gets purified, and is then pumped right back into Lake Mead. For every gallon the city returns to the lake, it earns a legal credit to withdraw another gallon, creating a highly efficient closed loop. While this system effectively neutralizes indoor water consumption, it exposes a massive vulnerability. Any water used outdoors that evaporates or sinks into the ground cannot be recaptured, making it a permanent loss. The ultimate threat to the city's survival is evapotranspiration. This is the process where water applied to outdoor landscaping, lawns, and swimming pools is lost directly to the atmosphere before it can be reclaimed. This image is a high-resolution heat map derived from remote sensing satellites, tracking evapotranspiration rates across Las Vegas neighborhoods. It allows the city to monitor precise irrigation levels and identify properties that are applying too much water to their lawns. Algorithms process this thermal and spectral data, isolating the exact homes with the highest water loss. The system flags properties where outdoor irrigation exceeds the strict limits established for the desert climate. This map displays an aerial satellite view converted into a strict land cover classification grid. With this level of detailed surveillance, water authorities legally enforce seasonal watering schedules, mandating the total removal of non-functional, ornamental turfgrass across the valley. Las Vegas now operates on a profound historical irony. A metropolis that was founded on the relentless engineering of excess has been forced to become the world's most aggressively engineered laboratory for absolute conservation.